So for the front panel, I have 70 single crochets from one end to the other, and then 70 from here to here. For the shoulders, I single crocheted 8 rows, and what I did for either side is I just started and I single crocheted up to 24, and every other row I would decrease by 1 so that by the end it would reach 20. For the back panel, I just kind of made it match the front panel where I worked 70 single crochets across, and then 70 up, and then I added an extra 8 just so that it would match the height, seeing as I added an extra 8 for the shoulders. For the sleeves, this could be kind of different for everybody, but I just found the point alongside where it kind of didn't bother my armpit, so I sort of pinned it at the spot where if I felt it was too tight or felt it was too loose, I just kind of moved it. For me, this was 32 stitches, so 32 on this side, 32 on that side, which made 64 in total. And I knew kind of the length that I wanted. I wanted this to be 17 inches, so I know that for a half double crochet pattern, 3 rows is equal to 1 inch, so I kind of just did the math, which would be 51 inches. So the first row, I made sure to do just one around, so 64. And then on the second row is when I did a decrease, so I decreased by 2, and I did it in the seam, so it's kind of not noticeable. So on every multiple of 5 row, so row 45, row 40, row 35, I would know to decrease by 2 at this. And I also made sure to alternate in the sense that I didn't just go around. I didn't work in the round. I was working in rows. So if I worked one direction for this row, in the next row I'd work in that direction. So I would keep flipping back and forth. And lastly, for the ribbing, I just did a single crochet kind of ribbing, so single crocheting in the back loop only of each row, and I did it with 8 single crochets for the bottom ribbing and for the cuff ribbing. But for the ribbing of the collar, I did it of single crochets of 3. So this can be, if you want a taller collar, you can definitely customize that. Or if you see the end of my last video, this kind of was a wider head hole. If you want it to be a thinner head hole, then when you do the shoulders, you can make it not decrease, or you can add more rows, more single crochets. So if you want the sweater to be longer or shorter, you can add more rows. If you want it to be tighter or looser, then you can add more single crochets. If you don't want any sleeves at all, and you can make it a vest, and you can just add ribbing here. There's not really a set pattern. Anybody can really do whatever they want with this. It's really just up to you and your comfort level and whatever colors and designs you want to do. Also, for reference, this is the pixel grid that I use. It has 50 columns and 50 rows, but I knew that 50 by 50 was going to be a little too small for me, which is why I added an extra 4 rows up and an extra 20 rows sideways. So I just made the front panel the way anybody would make any sort of pixel grid crochet project.